170.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. Region Chairperson, Lion Dr. Sanso Fernandez, Second Vice Governor, Lion Earl Brito, my dear friends, respected past District Governors, Lion Chandrakant Navemarg, Lion Pradeep Kulkarni, Lion Sasindran Nayak, and Lion Udariko Rodriguez, distinguished lions on the dais and off the dais, my dear young leos and invitees and guests present here. May I now request only the leos in the hall to please stand. Only the leos present in the hall. If any leos are there, because when I say the Leo pledge, every Leo should be standing. In the year January 1978, 44 years back, I took this pledge. I pledge of my hands, extended and open, to help those in need. I pledge of my heart, reach for it and it will be touched. I pledge of my ears to hear another's outcry. I pledge of my eyes to see the plight of others. I pledge of my knowledge to bring a man closer to his dreams. I pledge of myself for the betterment of my community, my state and my country. Friends, I took this pledge 44 years back. Even to this day, this pledge resonates in my mind and the purpose of life started getting defined from then on. My purpose of life started getting. I'll talk to you about my purpose of life later on. Let me tell you some great people who changed their purpose of life during the course of their life to achieve something phenomenal. I sent a small note to Dr. Sanso Fernandez. If your purpose in life is very strong, then you don't have to be pushed. Your passion will drive you there. So let me start from a living saint who passed away about 20 years, 18 years back, Saint Mother Teresa. She was born in North Macedonia, an Albanian lady, a pretty young lady who came to India when she was in her early 20s. She went to Calcutta. Her purpose of life when she was 10 years old was to become a missionary. She got attracted to that. She started participating in missionary activities and she came in her early 20s to Calcutta. You just imagine, at age of 23, 24 coming to Calcutta and straight away serving the lepers there, the destitute children there and the street children there. As a young pretty lady, she could have married in a wealthy family, settled down to marital bliss and had children and continued, but she would not have become Mother Teresa. Her purpose in life was to serve the needy, serve the poor people. That was her purpose in life. So head on she started doing service and thousands of destitute children and lepers. She started the Missionary of Charity in Calcutta. She started doing human service. I am talking only with about people whom I have seen in my lifetime. So Mother Teresa was one whom I have seen and heard, and she was awarded. See, this Nobel Prize, Bharat Ratna did not mean anything to her. She was much beyond that. And though she got those awards, she continued to serve with all humility and she passed away. After that, she left a legacy. Her successor, Sister Nirmala, who is a Brahmin lady from Maharashtra, she continued the tradition. And today, the legacy and the purpose of life left by Mother Teresa is being continued. So the purpose of life, what she said, is being continued to serve the downtrodden. That was the purpose of her life. Another gentleman who is there, who impressed me a lot when I heard him in one of the forums, Kailash Satyarthi. He got the Nobel Prize in 2014. Friends, with Yusuf Malala, there is a contrast. You can't define. You don't understand the way Nobel Prizes are awarded. But equating him with Yusuf Malala is something I could not comprehend. But Kailash Satyarthi, his mission in life, his purpose in life was to free child labor, not to somehow see that child labor is eradicated in India. exploitation of youngsters is eradicated in India. Born in the year 1954 in Madhya Pradesh, he is an electrical engineer and a postgraduate in high voltage engineering, and he was teaching in a college. In 1980, he quit the job. He quit the job in 1980 at the age of 26 years to pursue a passion, to pursue a purpose of life, to free these children who were exploited. And he created Bachpan Bachao Andolan, that is his mark. Bachpan Bachao Andolan. Save the children from being exploited. Children were massively being exploited, sexual abuse, labor, organ transplant, everything. But he started this, and when I heard him, he said in many places they were assaulted by the zamindars or landlords who were using child labor. 86,000 children he has freed from child labor. 86,000. And he created a movement to 103 countries, 80,000 kilometers they traveled, a walkathon with all these exploited children. And a draft policy against child labor was prepared, and it was adopted by the Indian Labour Association Convention in Geneva. And he started a Bharat March. Bharat March he started with all these exploited children, and that culminated in the parliament passing a bill of anti-human trafficking bill in 2018. And also a deterrent, a very stringent punishment was imposed with the death sentence for child abuse or child rape. Friends, a man, a noble man who left his electrical engineering profession and started this, somehow I salute him, and a man whose purpose in life is something which is worthwhile emulating. Another gentleman from my hometown, Azim Premji, the chief of Wipro. He was 22 years, he was studying in Stanford, his father passed away. He was called back to India to take care of the oil mill in Bombay and other businesses that his father had set up. Azim Premji started, and he wanted to set up a good world-class companies he wanted to set up. He had a conglomerate with integrity and honesty. So he came to India and started his work of setting up the company, and after he accomplished sizable amount of business, after he established, he set up a good software company, various activities there, modular furniture, lighting, Wipro lighting, lot of things he were into. Then he started philanthropy. In the year 2020-21, he has donated 9,700 crores, which amounts to 27 crores per day, only donation. Imagine, for COVID, he gave 2,125 crores. It is in the balance sheet of Wipro. In 2020-21, he has given for COVID. Now, his purpose of life became to improve the educational standard in India, and he set up the Azim Premji University, because he is a self-actualized person. When you see the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the top end of the pyramid is self-actualization. He is a man who has realized self-actualization, and totally he has donated 1,21,000 crores of rupees for charity. I think he deserves a big applause of applause. He is this boring Muslim from Gujarat, from Kutch area. From there they came to Bombay, and from there to Bangalore, and today the man is somebody, a great man. I'll go to another person, another group, another person who was largely responsible for what the city of Bombay is now. Sir Jamshedji Tata. See, this Parsi community is a very small community. Total world over is about 3 lakh people. My mother was a great fan of this Parsi community, and when I was young, she used to tell me stories about this Parsis, how they came to Surat, how they promised the king of Surat that they will not disturb the existing people, they will not get married with the local people. That also they promised. That is why you see in the Parsi community, 99% of the people marry in their own community. They don't go outside and marry. So they stood by that, Now you see, after they were persecuted in Iraq, they came to India via Surat. They have such strong nationalist feeling in their adopted country. India is their adopted country, Sir Jamshedji Tata. He wanted to make India industrially strong. He wanted to bring world-class industries in India. Now what he did, he had four dreams. Four dreams is to set up a steel plant in India so that India becomes self-sufficient in steel, to set up a hydropower station in India, to set up a unique hotel in India, and one more thing I'll tell you, to set up hydropower learning center, a high educational institution, a hotel and a steel plant. So the Tata Steel he set up, he died in 1904. Tata Steel came into existence in 1906. In 1903, the Taj Hotel in Bombay, which withstood the onslaught of the terrorist attack, was created by him in 1903. Today, that hotel stands tall and one of the best hotels in India today. Now, his four dreams or four missions in life were accomplished by his successors. His son, Dorabji Tata, set up the first hydroelectric power station in Western India. That is how Tata Power came into existence. Then the steel plant started in Rourkela, Jamshedpur, the steel plant, Tata Steel started. Then the Indian Institute of Science, it was earlier known as the Tata Institute of Science, was started. And the what else? Power plant, steel plant, and education institute and hotel. All the four, his successors accomplished it. And the real exponential growth happened when J.R.D. Tata was the chairman. They started the Indian Airlines. It was unfortunately nationalized, ruined, and again given back to them. That is how things happen. So that was started by him. He was the chairman of Indian Airlines, Air India. But again it was nationalized. But he started it and he was a highly respected businessman all over the world. Then the exponential growth, the big growth happened when Ratan Tata took over. The dream and mission of the founder is being followed even this day. Ratan Tata took over Kola Steel and made Tata the second largest steel manufacturer in the world. Then TCS is the largest software company in India, Tata Consultancy Services. And Tata Solar, many conglomerate. It is a big conglomerate of group companies which run by ethics, honesty, and high standard of working and philanthropy. They do a lot of philanthropy. That was the mission of and purpose of the founder Jamshedji Tata. They do so much of philanthropy. A large chunk of money is kept aside for philanthropy by Tata Sons, the Guru Trust. And let me also, before I go to the next, Azim Premji, when he set up the industry, high level of integrity and honesty was the hallmark of Azim Premji. When they had that Tata, this Wipro oil mills in Bombay, a union worker who was the president of the union, president of the trade union, travelled by second class and came first class by train. That was proved and he was summarily dismissed. The entire factory went on strike. This is just out of the way I am talking to you. He did not budge. Azim Premji did not budge. He said, do what you want. He declared a lockout. He declared a lockout for the factory. But he never reinstated him. He stood his ground. Then the workers came back. He did not reinstate him. Again I tell you, that was the integrity. He stood by his principles. Then also, when a classmate of mine is a vice president in Wipro, when another vice president in Wipro software services travelled by air with the points that he accumulated and claimed the airfare, he was found out, the HR found out, and he was asked to resign. And at the level of a vice president, because he said company integrity is of paramount importance, these things don't matter. That is the high standards in which Wipro has been built up. Friends, now let me come down to lesser mortals, grounded mortals like Dr. Celso. Dr. Celso, by profession, is a dentist. He was enjoying his dentistry, and yesterday also he told me, and while he was introduced also, he was told he was a daily wage worker. With the whatever money, he started reinvesting in business and started building up his business, so he was not taking any salary. Then he did not have any passive income. Then his purpose in life started changing, and he wanted to create wealth not only for himself but wealth for others also. And he became a financial advisor, a wealth manager. And today, my friends, the art of giving, lot of people have wealth, but very few people have that art or the heart to give. And this gentleman from his foundation, he spends a sizable amount of money that he earns. He says, the more you give, the more you get. That is also my experience also. What goes around comes around. That is his real slogan. So the more you give, the more you earn. So today, a sizable amount. Everybody talks about him. The sizable amount he has spent, he spends every year. Not only for Lions, he spends through JCs, through Rotary. So his purpose of life is to create wealth for people that serve the downtrodden. What's that? Am I right? Then the least immortal, let him coming to me. Friends, my purpose of life after I took the Leo Prince started getting defined. Way back in 1978 when I became a Leo, our Leo club used to meet along with our parent Lions club in Taj West. Our parent Lions club is the second oldest club in Bangalore. We used to meet in Taj West End. That point of time, West End was owned by Spencer's, Chennai. So, as youngsters, he already said when I was introduced, I joined in 1978 at the age of 17. So, he has already told you I am 61 years now. I am 61 years now. So, going there at that age, when I was in my first year pre-universities, to eat the samosas, to eat the cutlets, to eat the jamuns, to eat the pastries, that was the attraction to go to the Leo Club meetings those days. But after a month, we had a Leo service activity, 1 week of continuous activities every day. That was the hallmark of the Leo Club that year, that in that time of our existence. Every day for 1 week we used to do service activity. The first day we went to the blind school, Ramana Maharshi Academy of Blind in 1978. So we gave them something as because within our means, whatever we could do some service activity, we did it to them. In our honor, the young children who are blind, they started singing for us. For half an hour they sang for us. Friends, let me tell you, it was too much, it was too touching for us and we all became emotional. Next day, we went to the Spastic Society, that is on the old airport road in Bangalore. Now Leela Palace Hotel is there, next to that it was there, now they have shifted it to Indiranagar. You see young, bright children with bright eyes, bright features, but they have no limbs. They cannot talk. They are stationary. And that again touches, you definitely anybody will become emotional. The next day, we went to Sheila Kotwala Institute for Deaf and Dumb. That is also near the old airport road. Again, young children, all school-going children who cannot talk or who cannot hear. Seeing them again, your purpose of life gets defined at that point of time. Then we went to the Little Sisters of the Poor. There is an old age home in Bangalore on Hosur Road. We went there. When we went and we did some skits, singing, reading, something like that, joking. The old people are not letting us go. You are like our grandchildren, please stay back for some more time. Come more frequently, they are crying. When we are about to leave, they started crying, stay for some more time. At the time they have everything, but they have nothing. So, friends, when seeing all this, your purpose of life changes. All your ego takes a beating, your arrogance takes a beating, and it comes down and you become grounded and you become humble in life. When you see suffering, you become humble in life. So, what happened? From that day, I never looked back. I never looked back, and I started getting into service. As a service organization, we are not a charity organization. We started doing service. Then I became a Lion in 1986. I became a Lion, and in 2006, this idea of computer donation came into my mind. In 2007, I was the regional chairperson. That is about 15 years back. I was the regional chairperson. My purpose of life was empowering underprivileged. Empower. That story of that fish. If a fellow comes and begs for you for a fish, you give him a fish, every day he comes back for a fish. Give him a net and teach him how to fish, he will not come back next day, he will fish and he will be on his own. So that concept, when you empower an underprivileged person, you are helping the society, you are helping the country. So I started this computer project. Fortunately for me, many of my classmates, the COO of Infosys, Chief Operating Officer, the number 2, he was my classmate. The Senior Director of Intel, Senior Director of Science, they were all my classmates. The Managing Director of McAfee, my classmates. So I started talking to them on this used computers. Those days PCs were more in vogue. So I started taking used computers from them, started refurbishing them, giving it to schools and to lines under the supervision of lines to set up computer training centers to help youngsters in that area to learn computers. In villages also we set up computer training centers so that the ladies in the village also could learn some about computers. And slowly we started giving laptops. Now in the last 2 years, laptop is the most wanted thing. In the year 2021, we gave 184 laptops. We gave it all over. Your district also was a beneficiary when we gave it. In 21-22, we have given more than 150 laptops, and I have pledged another 100 laptops before the end of the year to be given. Now, sometimes when you give this laptop, you are empowering 100 people. In Udupi, like this in a region mate, I was a guest of honor. 2 young girls who had scored 99, 98, 99 in physics, chemistry and mathematics and were students of Navemarg Institute of Technology. The Pro Vice Chancellor was the chief guest. I gave them 2 laptops. One is the daughter of a coolie and another is the daughter of a menial worker. When I could see the happiness and tears in their eyes when they received the laptops. The other day I gave a laptop that was put in the group also. For a civil engineering girl who was unemployed, she wanted to do something on her own, but she didn't have a laptop. And you could see the happiness on her face. Friends, that is what gives me the satisfaction of having joined Lionism and for doing service by empowering these underprivileged students. So this project I will continue as long as I can to empower underprivileged by paying. Most of you do it, paying fees to them, giving them books. That is, you are empowering them. So, friends, I can go on and on and on this because I am very, very passionate about this subject. So, purpose of life can be defined. There is no age limit when you have to define the purpose of life. Purpose of life can be defined as you grow, as you start gaining experience, as you start growing older. So, see, this purpose of life is perceived differently by different people at different part of time. For a housewife, homemaker, her purpose of life is to see that our husband and children are well taken care, and the children are educated well, they get a good job, get them married, they settle on their own. That is the purpose of life for a homemaker. For some people, for a government servant, a successful completion of the service, whatever he can do in that service, that is the purpose of his life. For an army man, the purpose of his life is to defend the country, to defend and to do something for the country, to save the country, safeguard the country. So similarly, some people, they don't have any definite purpose of life, but they go with the flow, work, employed and go. So, at some point of time, define a small purpose in your life and work towards your goal. Okay? Thank you. Long live Lionism. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful address. We could learn so many things for ourselves to help and find our purpose of life. Before we go ahead,